Hello, my name is Alexa Johnson. I am 21 and I am a third year here at Western, and I'm majoring in recreation management and leadership, as well as minoring in environmental education. I think that peer leadership is really important in a lot of ways. I think that my major is very aligned with peer leadership and like what I need for it. A lot of people hear about like the recreation management and leadership major, and all they really hear is like recreation management, which is the core component of my major, but I'm also majoring in leadership within all of that. And so it's like a lot of the stuff that we talk about in class is stuff that I slightly know about already. And so I'm really excited to get indulged more in what that looks like and the importance of peer leadership through this course as we go on in the quarter. A little bit of a personal background. A lot of people know this about me when they get to know me. I am an RA, and so I've been an RA for every single year that I've been here besides the first 2 quarters. And I have a lot of experience of working with groups of people, diverse groups of people because of that, but also just like my very first job working in a situation where leadership comes into play. I was a summer camp counselor. Summer of 2021, I was a summer camp counselor, and I spent a large portion of my time growing to understand myself and the people around me and our needs and what is needed from people in this situation that, like, how do I say? I think that a lot of people are very centered around themselves, and I had to grow to understand servitude, but not really getting a name for it until my sophomore year of college. And so when I became a sophomore, I finally got to learn like what it meant to be a servant to those around me and be involved in servant leadership. And so I think that's like the main portion of my experiences and how that shaped who I am as a person. And I think that anybody that gets to know me and sees me like can see that through my job line, like when I'm working with people, when I'm working with kids. I spend a large part of my time worrying and caring for them more than about myself, although I do try to put myself first, but I think that it's pretty obvious when you meet me that like I'm not just it's only about me. I'm gonna put effort towards other people, but yeah. And expectations and aspirations. I think this quarter I have a lot of expectations when it comes to understanding other people's point of view on what peer leadership should look like. Even today, just learning about like what leadership has looked like over the years and where it stems from was really interesting to me because I'm the type of person that wants things to kind of go my way. And if they don't go my way, I get really frustrated. And so I would love to grow to understand more of how people manage themselves and the people around them, and work with other people in a leadership setting that isn't what I want in my point of view. So I think that I have a big hope of being able to apply this to my jobs that I take on in the future, like my internship this summer, as well as, just a general, like, whatever happens with my career through my recreation management and leadership career. The hopes is for me to be a manager and be a good leader in that sense. So, the challenges and hopes that I have a lot of challenges when people are very open-minded, and I think that that's something that I need to grow to be okay with and try to keep myself more open-minded for people that are like that. And so I feel like I try to put in a lot of work to blend how I feel and what I think when it comes to leadership and working with different groups of people, especially a lot of strong-minded people. You know, I have to do that a lot. I think I'm pretty strong-minded already. I think it's really interesting trying to work with people like that, and so I'm really curious, like hearing other people's point of view in this class. We may be a really small class, but I can tell that everybody has like very different points of view when it comes down to it, and so I'm really hoping that I'll learn more about like what their points of views are, and like trying to like force myself to like understand and be okay with that, you know. Yes. With connection to course content, something that I am really excited to learn about is definitely the diversity, the importance of diversity, and the importance of like understanding personal, like people's personalities, just because you're gonna have to do that your entire life. And so it's really interesting, like what, like, you know, you're always going to be around different groups of people. And I never even thought about the sense of diversity in the sense of anything besides like an identity, rather than just like what we have to offer ability wise until class last week. But another thing that I'm really excited to learn about is authenticity and authentic leadership, because I thrive off of authenticity. Something that I learned about in my HR class that I took last quarter was this thing called, I think it was like 3 principles of something, and it was empathy, genuineness, and oh goodness, it was unconditional positive regard. And so I think that that's something that is really like, that's something I've thought about a lot more, in the sense of like how I take care of myself and the people around me, and like what it looks like to be someone that identifies as someone that puts a lot of effort into being like within the servant leadership role. And I'm really excited to hear like more about what authenticity and authentic leadership looks like for other people. Because I think that that's a really important thing to discuss, but not a lot of people like really feel like they can be authentic in their job roles. So they end up just like, they end up getting really upset, and they end up being very like, oh, like, I don't care that much. Like, you can tell when people aren't being authentic. So I think that that's something that I really want to learn more about. Like, how can I make myself be more authentic for people around me when I'm in a role that I'm not really feeling connected to. But another thing that I need to discuss is the vision for peer leadership. I think that effective peer leadership looks like active communication, and this needs to be both written and verbal, and that's a really hard thing to do, but written and verbal communication is really important in a leadership role. Having things written down so that people can go back and look again, not forget, as well as yourself, honestly. As well as open communication with your staff members. And I think that like the one thing that we discussed last week was creating a brave space. And I think that it's really important to create a brave space for, you know, the people that you work with, especially, whether it be like the people that you're serving, whether it's a servant situation or not. Like, you don't have to practice servitude leadership to create that space. And I think that creating a space where people can be open with themselves and discuss things with you is really important. So I think that that's something that I look for a lot, and especially like authenticity as who you are. Is like, I don't want to work with someone that's being fake. Like, that's just really uncomfortable. Like if you're mad, you can be mad, just don't push that feeling onto me. If you're upset, you can be upset, but like I think that it's really important to kind of understand yourself and develop an understanding. And honestly, I think it's really important to communicate those feelings with the people that you work with. And it's really hard sometimes because sometimes it feels like those people don't need to know, but when it affects other people around you, it is so important to communicate what you're feeling so that people know like how to best I guess like switch up how they're acting around you to best fit your needs. Because sometimes, you know, frustrations will be put on other people and it'll make them not feel good, or they won't realize that you're not feeling good. And so, you know, a lot of the time, like people will like kind of snap on other people when they don't deserve that. And so I think that's something that I often look at when it comes to peer leadership and, you know. Okay, and my conclusion, key points. I am excited to hear what other people have to say regarding what leadership looks like to them. I'm also really excited to learn about diversity and managing personalities and talking about that with people. I'm really excited to do something with that, as well as learning a lot more about communication with people with different personalities and managing different personalities. I think that's so important. That's something I focus a lot on in my major. And I'm really excited to, what was the second one? I think, anyways. I'm really hoping to contribute a lot of my personal feelings about leadership and what that looks like to me. Because I think that I have a lot of really interesting and different points to say as someone that is like a person of color and queer in a space, especially in a PWI, because I think that it looks so different to me compared to other people. And so I'm hoping to gain new perspectives from this course, as well as give new perspectives to people in this course. So, thank you.